Hey guys, today I'm going to be sharing with you my Fangirl favorites for September 2020. So, another month gone as we slowly approach the end of this rather terrible year, I suppose, you guys. I, I feel like every month I just don't have really much of anything to say because there's nothing really to do. I can't really even go anywhere. I feel like every month all I've been talking about is pretty much movies and TV, and so yeah, this month just more of the same. Some movies and TV shows I'm going to be sharing with you guys. Let's get going. Try to make this a short and sweet video. The big thing that's been occupying my month, I've been having a rewatch of Rain. If you don't know what Rain is about, it originally was a CW show. It had 4 seasons, and it was a historical fiction show about Mary, Queen of Scots, who was the cousin of Queen Elizabeth I, and Mary, Queen of Scots, essentially, if she wanted the English throne, if she had backing and supporters, she could have easily taken the English throne from Elizabeth. But if you know your history, Mary, Queen of Scots and Elizabeth I, though they were cousins, they were bitter enemies, bitter rivals. I think historically they probably never even met. I don't think they ever even met in real life, despite being cousins. Eventually Mary Queen of Scots does get executed. She gets beheaded. Sorry if that's a spoiler, but that's history. I don't consider history a spoiler. That's essentially what the Rain TV series is about. It's following a young Mary, Queen of Scots, her time in France when she's married to King Francis II, everything going through his death and her return back to Scotland and all of that. I've been having a rewatch of that show because it's on Netflix currently, and I was a huge fan of the show back when it was on. I really, really loved it. What you need to know about Rain, it's a CW show, so of course it's very heavily focused on romance and stuff like that. So, it's young people, of course, so it can have some silliness, some cheesiness. Sometimes it's not the best written, especially those first couple episodes of season 1. They're pretty terrible. But I love the show, and so I was like, you know what, I really would like to have a rewatch of Rain. And I tell you what, I have been loving my rewatch. I was a little worried going into it. I was like, oh, am I gonna love this as much as I did originally? And fortunately, I'm loving it just as much. And I think what's great too, since it is on Netflix and I can sit and watch a couple episodes every single day, and I feel like I'm forming like a stronger, deeper attachment to the characters, and yes, some big, huge moments have transpired in the show, and I've kind of been crying. I've been crying during certain scenes and certain moments, which, when it originally aired, I don't remember sitting and crying, because it was a week-by-week show, and there would be hiatuses, so I feel like sometimes I never got too emotionally attached to people. But yeah, binge watching it, it's like I'm getting very emotionally attached and invested in everything going on. But I do. I personally love Rain. It's not the most accurate, okay? It is definitely not the most accurate of depictions of Mary, Queen of Scots. The thing is, there is kernels of truth in there. You know, when you dig, there are kernels of truth. the show definitely takes a lot of historic liberties because it knows who its target audience is. You know, the target audience is younger people, really. Probably more so than someone like me, you know. Its demographic was for younger people who were maybe kind of getting into that bit of history. It's definitely not a show. It's not a show for like historical accuracy type people, you know. So it is. It's not the most accurate. It definitely takes humongous liberties, but like I said, there are little bits of kernels of truth in there, and they do heighten certain elements, you know. They heighten certain events, heighten certain characters. You know, they have to take those dramatic liberties in order to tell a really compelling, interesting story, because if they didn't, it would just be incredibly boring. So yeah, that's been my primary thing that I've been doing this entire month, you guys, because it's like 78 episodes. There's 78 episodes, and I've typically been watching 2 episodes a day, so I'm going to be finalizing my rewatch sometime in early October. But yeah, I've been loving the rewatch. I've been crying, I've been laughing, I've been enjoying myself. It's been great. So yeah, anybody else, any other fans of Rain out there? Have you had a rewatch recently? So yeah, let's move on from Rain, because seriously, I can sit here and talk forever about Rain if you let me. As far as some other things that I got around to, I tell you what, I did a lot of Netflix watching this month. Let me start there. I definitely, just about everything I consumed this month happened to be on Netflix, which is great, because I'm definitely getting my money's worth for the month. Because some months, you know, there'll be maybe one thing I watch on Netflix, or maybe sometimes nothing at all, but yeah, I'm definitely getting my money's worth this month. So yeah, what else did I watch on Netflix this month? You guys, I finally got around to A Knight's Tale. You know, that Heath Ledger classic. I have always heard so much about A Knight's Tale, because I've always heard that it's definitely horribly historically inaccurate. It's very silly and absurd and cheesy. And it is all of those things. But yeah, it was leaving Netflix this month, correct? Yeah. It was leaving Netflix this month, so I was like, you know what, I need to take advantage and watch A Knight's Tale, because I've noticed that it's always on cable TV, but it's always on for like a really long amount of time, and it's like I don't want to sit there through all the commercials. So I was like, I'm gonna take advantage, watch it on Netflix without the commercials, and yeah, watch a Heath Ledger movie, because that's the sad truth about Heath Ledger. He only has a very small body of work, and what's there is it. And so yeah, I've been trying to, whenever I have the opportunity, I've been trying to watch whatever Heath Ledger movies I have yet to see, you know. And yeah, A Knight's Tale was one of them. So yeah, what is A Knight's Tale even about? It's a very very loose retelling of Geoffrey Chaucer's a Knight's Tale from the Canterbury Tales. It's very loose, you guys. And yeah, the historical figure Geoffrey Chaucer is a character in the movie, played by Paul Bettany, who looked very young, you guys. Good lord, this movie, God, what year was this movie? Was it 2001? Seriously, was this movie 2001? And the cast was ridiculously young. You guys, oh my freaking god. I mean, Heath Ledger looked like Heath Ledger to me, because I mean, he died young, so I mean, Heath Ledger kind of just looks the same, because I've not been able to see him grow over like the past 20 years, you know. But yeah, Paul Bettany looked very young. Yeah, Rufus Sewell is in this movie, you guys. Rufus Sewell is always in these horribly cheesy movies, and he's always the jackass villain. And yeah, even Rufus Sewell looked incredibly young in this. Yeah, Mark Addy is in this. Mark Addy kind of looked like Mark Addy, though. Yeah, a really good cast, though, of everybody looking extremely young. But yeah, did I ever finish the plot summary? I don't even think I ever finished the plot summary. But, like I said, a very loose retelling of Geoffrey Chaucer's A Knight's Tale from the Canterbury Tales. And yeah, it just follows a young man who he poses and disguises himself as a knight to try and win some money by competing in the jousting tournaments. And of course there's like a little romance and love story in there. So it is. It's kind of like this, almost this coming of age story with Heath Ledger's character, you know, becoming a great jouster and trying to become like a knight in a sense. And that's really the whole movie, guys. It's just a series of jousting tournaments and silliness. There's really not a lot to this movie, considering that this movie, it's like over 2 hours, you guys. This movie is over 2 hours, and there's not really a hell of a lot that even happens. The good majority of it is just these jousting tournaments, so sometimes it could get a little slow, boring for me, because it just kept getting a little repetitive. But I still really liked it. I'm glad I finally got around to it, because I've just heard so much about it. And yeah, it's one of the few Heath Ledger movies that I've not seen, so I'm really glad I did get the chance to watch it before it left Netflix. Another movie I got around to watching that I was interested in a couple years ago when it came out, but I never got around to going to see it in the theaters. Adrift. Adrift, starring Shailene Woodley and Sam Claflin, taking place in the 80s, the early 80s, I think, and it follows a guy and girl played by Shailene Woodley and Sam Claflin, and they get out on the ocean in their boat, and a hurricane happens, and it's based off of a true story. This was a very good, compelling movie, you guys. Like I said, it's the whole focus of this movie is two characters on a boat, stranded at sea. A hurricane happens. It's a movie about survival and kind of a journey of discovery, and it was very good, you guys. Very, very good, very heartbreaking, really pulls at you. You get this really heavy sense of like doom and gloom sometimes, like they're stranded out here. Are they ever gonna get out from this? Are they gonna get rescued? I really liked it. I really thought it was a good movie. Yeah, if you have a Netflix account, I definitely recommend checking this out if you're kind of into that type of movie, like a survival type movie, if that floats your boat. Another new movie was a new release this month, and that was The Devil All the Time. And this has a humongous cast, you guys. Tom Holland, Sebastian Stan, Robert Pattinson, Mia Wasikowska, Jason Clarke. This cast was ridiculous, yeah, guys. Oh god, I need someone to talk about this movie with me, seriously, especially spoilers. This movie, if you don't know what the movie is about, if you haven't even heard about it, it takes place in like the 50s and 60s, kind of straddling this line between Ohio and West Virginia, and it's a story about these characters and events that seemingly don't connect or don't relate. And that's kind of the interesting thing about this movie, because you kind of realize, okay, there can't be some sort of disconnect going on here. There's got to be some point of connection between all these characters and events, and how is it all going to tie together? And that's kind of the fun of the movie, is unraveling things as they happen and how certain threads are going to draw together and connect. And when they do connect, they happen in very fascinating, interesting ways. And this movie, oh my goodness, if you've seen the trailer and the trailer wasn't really doing anything for you, I really highly recommend watching this movie, because I think the trailers were rather misleading. The trailers definitely did not show kind of what this story is really about, I feel like. This was a wild ride of a movie, you guys, because I honestly did not know what to expect, and my mind was blown. Wow. If I ever did like a top 10 movies of the year, I seriously almost feel like this movie would make like very high up in my top 10. That's how much I loved it and enjoyed it. It was immensely impressive, and I freaking loved it. And that's kind of all I really want to say about this movie, because I feel like saying anything more is just going to start straddling into spoiler territory. But yeah, if you've seen the movie and you want to talk about it, please do. And you guys, one of the last things I want to talk about that I also watched on Netflix was a kids cartoon series, and that was the new Jurassic World cartoon, Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. And you may be thinking, huh, kids cartoon, the Jurassic World franchise, it may not interest you, but I really recommend this cartoon series, you guys. It's only 8 episodes, 24 minutes apiece. It follows a group of 6 teenagers, either preteens or teenagers, kind of somewhere right in there. And it's set during, it's set kind of a little bit before the first Jurassic World movie, and then heads, like in the second half of the season, heads right into the events of that first Jurassic World movie. And oh boy, this was surprisingly good, you guys. I was a bit hesitant prior to going into this cartoon, because I was like, it's a cartoon series, I'm not quite sure if I will end up liking it, but like I said, I was very pleasantly surprised with how this turned out. The storytelling is very captivating and engaging, and I feel like you really fall in love with these kids and their journey and their story and the peril and danger that they're put in. And what was really surprising about this cartoon series that I wasn't really expecting, the amount of character development that did go on. Considering that it is only 8 episodes, and a good majority of it is the kids in danger running away from dinosaurs, there's also just a really huge portion of it that it will take the time to slow the narrative down and give you these character moments to really flesh these kids out and really make you feel for them. And there were some genuinely very sad moments that I found myself like kind of choking up inside, like, oh, I can't believe this is kind of getting to me. The animation is fantastic. If you like, you know, like Pixar animation or Disney animation, or because this is put out by DreamWorks, if I'm not mistaken, if you like the DreamWorks style, the animation is gorgeous, it's pretty, it looks just like that first Jurassic World movie, essentially. I seriously really love this cartoon series, you guys. If you're mildly interested, I definitely recommend it. Like I said, only 8 episodes, 24 minutes apiece. I sat and binged the whole thing in 2 days. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Even though it's a kid's cartoon, it's like I still feel like there was enough there for an adult audience to really probably appreciate more than the teenage audience it's kind of targeted for, quite honestly. So yeah, even if you are not a fan of the Jurassic World movies, because I know a lot of people are not particularly into the Jurassic World movies, I still kind of recommend this. I think you might quite honestly be very pleasantly surprised with how this turned out. If anything, if you do hate the Jurassic World movies, I almost feel like you might really like this and prefer this. So you guys, that is it for this month's Fangirl favorites. In the comments below, what have you guys gotten up to in the month of September? Pretty much my whole month was spent watching movies and television. What else is there to do with my life, you guys? So you guys, anything that you consumed, TV, movies, video games, music, books, whatever, I don't care. Just let me know the fun, nerdy things you got up to this month. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye, guys.